Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Red Forest. I'm Peyton.
This is Adam.
And this is going to be another off-topic rambling. Go ahead and start us out, Adam.
I'm calling it.
Calling what?
World War III, where it's starting.
Where's it starting?
Taiwan.
Why Taiwan?
Because China wants to take over Taiwan.
Do they?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
I think they, if I'm not mistaken, they think it's their territory. And that's not a country.
Ain't it?
It is a country, yes.
No, isn't it their territory?
It's
Whose is it?
It's their own country.
Okay.
And the reason why I say there, because they keep telling us to back down. And we're like, we're just like, we're going to get you. We ain't touching you. That's your thing. We're not touching you. But, and then after that, Japan just let us using their air bases right near the South China Sea.
I don't think there would be a World War III, at least not in this generation. I think that people think war now typically is a joke, especially with all the whenever World War III said it was going to happen in early 2020.
Mm-hmm.
People did nothing but just post memes all over Facebook. It's like the actual war was. Am I a joke to you?
Well, I mean, like, I feel like even if World War III did happen, there'd still be memes going on.
I don't think if we were actually at war. Well,
you'd have to keep it lighthearted somehow.
Well, yeah, I guess.
You'd still be people like, I don't care. I'm going my daily life. Boom. Meme posted. But I think that's eventually what's going to...
There would be a lot of people easily triggered about all that stuff, especially if we were actually at war. But this is my opinion of it. If you want to complain about it, go.
Exactly.
And if you have a problem, probably most of the people that would be posting those memes and stuff is people in war, because they have to find some way to keep their spirits up, and seeing all these memes and gifs and stuff about World War III, it'd probably try to keep them light spirited.
And then while World War III's happening, you're going to see Jeff Bezos
just flying a rocket,
and Elon Musk, everything just shooting up into space, and people just looking down.
And Richard Branson.
Mm-hmm. I think his looks the most promising right now.
He's been doing this whole space thing.
But he actually first one to do it.
Well, yeah.
And it actually looks like an actual...
I don't think
a plane that's going to go up like a more commercial.
Yeah.
Compared to Jeff Bezos. Don't get me wrong. Either way, it's cool that now. Right now, if you're really rich, you can go into space.
Yeah.
But mostly anybody can go into space now if they want to.
Yeah, but it's not like you can colonize Mars or something.
I think we will eventually.
Maybe in 100 years. I don't think in our lifetime.
No, not in our lifetime by any means. But I think we will start going there and doing stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be in our best interest to do it. For one reason. An asteroid's coming, and we can't stop it. We've got a whole nother planet with people on
It's a bit of I bet it'd be a lot harder of a process. Even like Neil deGrasse Tyson, he was talking about that process. He said it would be a lot easier just to try to fix the world we live in than to find another one, because it's not so far gone. It can still be preserved and it can be saved if you do the right stuff. Of course, and with cars being more
carbon neutral.
Yeah. Kind of like that. Even with that hydro car that Hyundai came out with, but it's only available in California, runs off basically.
It's CO2.
Yeah. That's
no.
It. Well, hydrogen.
Hydrogen, yeah.
Yeah, it's run off hydrogen, and it makes water. The only thing is, it just pours water every time.
If it purifies it,
But you don't got oil?
Imagine if it did that and it cools it,
Mm-hmm.
and then a glass of water goes, whoop, pops up when you need it. And your car does.
But remember, it's the purest of water. It has no minerals or anything. It tastes like shit.
Maybe you put
Like have some
like a packet
of...
or like you know how you do salt. You just go with some minerals.
Oh yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you stir it.
I don't. As much as I think that would be a cool concept, I doubt it'd ever happen.
No, let me tell you what.
People are stubborn.
The last person who actually created a car that ran off water, or supposedly created a car that ran off water, disappeared. So did his whole schematics and everything.
Government. Was he American or?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know who it was, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
They make money off of oil and gasoline. So if you think about it, if a car's run off water, like that would disrupt everything in the whole system of the world.
But kind of like how in that tax credit you get, if you get electric car, depending on what it is and how much mileage per kilowatt energy or something like that it gets, you get a huge tax credit.
Mm-hmm.
But like with that, how much do you remember how much it was for that hydrogen car? It was a lot.
Yeah,
it's like 15,000, I think. It was 15,000. Well, okay. It was 50. You get about, if you buy a hydrogen car from Hyundai, you get $15,000 worth of credits for the car. So basically,
which lasts you forever.
Yeah, but so you don't have to pay for any hydrogen.
Which is cool.
It is cool, but you have to live in California.
I mean, I'd get it if I have that much, and then just have hydrogen transported to my house. Which I don't know how you do that. And the government.
This guy seems weird. Who has hydrogen shipped to their house? I don't know.
Me, the only person in Tennessee that'd have a hydrogen car.
But
then you create a hydrogen business.
Do you think eventually that gas will be outlawed?
Outlawed? No.
No.
It's just gas will get very expensive. The easiest way to get people to stop using gas vehicles?
Tax it.
Raise everything. Raise the price on it.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way because people love money too much. So, you know what's going to happen? They'll be like, gas will go from here, which is what? $2.69?
Something like
here in Rogersville.
Yeah.
It's going to be probably in the range of like $30-$40.
Yeah.
And then the only people that's going to have probably a gas vehicle is people that has those muscle cars and all that kind of stuff.
Old classic cars.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe, I don't believe we need to get rid of gas. I believe that we at least need to have a process where it's like those plug-in hybrids. Mm-hmm. Add more battery power. You get more mileage. Get at least 100. So you have the option for gas and electric, and they kind of work together. So you're helping the earth by not using as much gas. You don't necessarily have to, because I say America will probably have enough charging stations, I say, in the next 50 years. Not right now.
I know, yeah. I mean, that's where eventually they will, but right now, most charging stations
are slow.
Not even that. You know what? They're charging by electricity.
Yeah.
But most are charged by regular electricity, which comes from coal. There's some that's solar powered and everything, but more or less like the one in town, it's connected to the grid.
TVA.
Which TVA, that has that, but we still use coal too. It can't. It doesn't. I don't think supplies all of the electricity.
Okay.
Which I mean, I'm not 100% sure because I'm not one of those electric people.
I ain't either.
So I'm not sure. Or I know we're both wrong and we don't know what we're talking about. But you know, yeah,
Ain't gonna hurt anything. It's just an opinion.
I don't know about that now.
You get in trouble for opinion nowadays.
But like I think, eventually it's gonna be electric cars. Do I think right now, within the next 15 years, I feel like there'll be more or less more electric cars than there are than gas cars.
My issue with cars now is that most of it's plastic.
Hmm?
Like the bumpers are plastic, and used to like for vehicles, which I can understand. Plastic is lighter and cheaper, and probably I wouldn't say it's probably better in a crash. Probably it really depends because most cars now don't even have a frame. It's all built into the whole body. Except I'm not sure about trucks though. I'm not sure if that's still because used to for a vehicle you can undo a bunch of bolts and lift up the whole chassis and have the frame underneath it. But
and
now
they might still on certain ones because trucks are usually work trucks meant to do heavy duty, and also if you're towing, you're going to have something that's probably connected to a frame and everything more or less. But I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I don't know. I'm not one of those people who build cars either. So.
Well, I feel like in the later 90s, early 2000s was whenever cars was just ugly.
Yeah, they didn't know what they was doing.
No. And I believe every car suffered from having an ugly model. And I feel like cars now, they're becoming more of like better looking, kind of like
it's like a
because
type thing.
I think in the 90s people probably thought if it's cheap, I don't care if it's ugly. But now people like style. At least most people. Most people don't want to drive a car that looks like a piece of shit.
Oh, yeah.
Well, not necessarily a piece of shit as in, like, old. I'm saying piece of shit as in it just looks like it was designed horribly.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Everyone thinks differently when it comes to vehicles. I would rather have a nice house than a nice vehicle. But I know some people have a different priority than that, where they'll get let's say a 2021 Mustang and live in a little beat down trailer.
A little camper or something.
Yeah, something like that. And yes, it's cool to own a Mustang, but I would rather, because a lot says about where you're living at. And I understand, like, with some people you can't help it, but if you have a brand new car that is about $40,000-$50,000, there's probably something wrong with you.
I mean, yeah, but like it all depends also on your lifestyle and your job. Because if you're a person out there that travels all the time for a job and they're never home, then at that point you wouldn't even need a house if you are always gone.
Well, yeah, that's understandable, but it also, I feel like with, like, if you're traveling, usually they pay for your gas and stuff, so I guess, you would want something good on gas. Actually, no, I guess you wouldn't care, since they're paying for it, so you probably get the fastest thing you can find. So, yeah, I guess it really depends on your lifestyle and what kind of job you have.
I mean, plus... But another thing is, I think a lot of people probably go for a newer car than a house. This is just my opinion on it, is because, think about it, most loans are 4 or 6 years.
Yeah.
A house loan,
about 30.
It is 15 to 30 years.
I think you have to get at least 30 if you're starting out. Maybe
if it's a cheap home, they might do 15 or something.
I don't think you can when you're younger. I think it has to be 30 years.
Well, that ain't right.
Well, I think
they're discriminating against young people.
Well, I think you can change it later on. What exactly did BBC say?
That by 2025, 20% of all cars that are sold new will be electric. By 2030, about 40% of all new cars sold will be electric, and then by 2040, virtually every new car sold.
I doubt that. I doubt the 2040 virtually all cars will be electric. Maybe I can understand the 20%, but that's about it. Because you got all these people who are stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
That I can understand why some people are gas heads, petrol heads, whatever you want to call it. And I mean, I understand most. If they made charging your car quicker,
mm-hmm.
kind of like you stop for 3 minutes and automatically fill it up.
It maybe gives you another.
Yeah, then most people will probably come around. But I guess the fact that it's not really that reliable when it comes to, because it really, with electric cars, it depends on the weather, and it depends on how you drive, and all of it really takes effect of how much, what distance you get with it. The only good thing is that it basically shows you. Well, I guess it's sort of the same because you got on vehicles, you get like, let's say you fill it up all the way, you got 250 miles till empty.
Mm.
And with electric cars, you could go to this distance before you're out. And it shows the charging stations around you, which I think is pretty cool.
I mean, on certain things, like electric cars, I think will be good. But if they're going to do electric cars, the only bad thing about it is the batteries.
Yeah.
The lead and everything in it. Because I get what they're trying to do with pollution. Not lead, but whatever they use in there.
Lithium ion?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when it's mined, it puts out a whole lot of pollution.
Yeah.
I think there's virtually no way of doing it where we don't pollute. I doubt there's going to be a way for us where it won't pollute.
Well, yeah, but if you also got to think especially with a lot. It seems like a lot of stuff is going to electric when it comes to like solar power is good to have for your house, and because you know exactly what kind of energy you're getting, and actually. If you get solar panels on your house, if you put out too much power, the electric company will pay you.
Mm-hmm. It can save you money in the long run. It can save you a lot of money, but at the same time, it's one of those things where...
For one thing, most of them are ugly. But with like Elon Musk's Tesla shingles... Their solar panel shingles. It's an amazing idea, and they look pretty good.
Mm-hmm. They don't look like solar panels at all.
But
on that part,
I think whenever it comes to like how the world is, I believe that I don't like how everything's becoming so digital per se. Like with cars and stuff, 99% of it, I wouldn't say 99, probably about 85 is the motherboard in it. Motherboard, circuits, and all that. You used to be just mechanical, but now it's becoming...
Everything's digital.
Everything's digital. And that's a scary thought, because in 1999, how everyone was scared of that Y2K, all the computers shut down, basically go in.
Even though they just flipped over.
Huh?
Even though they just flipped over.
Yeah.
2000.
Yeah. Kind of like how that in 2011, how the world was going in because 2012 because the Mayan calendar. Turns out the Mayan calendar was wrong, and I think the world was actually supposed to end about 5 years before that.
He was dyslexic. It's 2021. That's why he's like,
But
man.
I feel like now, if Y2K happened, it'd be 100 times worse.
Oh, yeah. I mean, at that point, you know how many people would go crazy because of not having technology? I mean, I would.
Mm-hmm.
Because then all of a sudden you go outside, what is this place? It's new.
It's the outside world, man.
It's like, oh, what is that? It's a bee. It's scary. So scary.
I used to see them on games on Fallout, how they're so big.
Now they're tiny. They're even more dangerous. I can't even see them. Start freaking out the whole time, which a lot of people would freak out.
Yeah. I don't think, like, most people wouldn't survive. I say most is because we're also drawn to technology. We can't typically live without it.
Like, we can to a certain point, but at the same time, it's going to be like...
Yeah.
Like, we're going to go crazy because that's what technology we have. That's why when you come in from work or something, or you sit down, you always put a movie on. You're doing something. Imagine if we don't have TVs.
Go read a book.
And for some people, that's scary.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't read a good book in a bit. I need to get back into reading books.
Never could get it.
Just to prepare, just in case something goes wrong.
Why don't you download books on your phone?
No, actual books, because
write a book.
If everything goes bad,
I think
this ain't gonna work either.
But
there's a lot of stuff that would not work. Maybe a flip phone.
Like, even with banks now, most of them are becoming more digital, and I feel like that shouldn't happen yet, because there's a lot of people, like, for instance, like my grandparents and stuff like that, they're in their 70s, don't have a cell phone, don't fool with it. So I say, make it, if you're going to make it more mobile and more digital, give it about 30, 40 years. Then possibly bring that into effect, because right now it ain't gonna work, and most people would have a conniption, which I understand.
All it takes is one big whop, and everybody loses all their money.
Mm-hmm.
All that money that you worked hard for, guess what? It's no longer there. It's gone. And then next thing you know...
I mean, I can understand it. I can understand the concept of making it all easier, but it's becoming too much about the money. They want to do all this stuff digitally because it saves them a quick buck. Same thing with, like, people at Walmart and stuff like that. How
everything's switching over to the
self-checkouts.
Mm-hmm.
Even the floors is wiped by robots. And because the only thing messes up, just gotta call a repairman to fix it. But that's one job.
I think personally, eventually, I don't think humans will have anything to live for. Personally, in cause, just think. Let's say we don't work.
Okay.
Everything's taken by robots. Well, now, let's say they do that universal income type thing.
Okay.
Because of the fact that all jobs are taken by robots. Yeah, we're getting money coming in. And we can buy what we want. But at a certain point in time, you can buy every single thing in the world that you want, and eventually you're still going to be lonely.
Yeah.
Because there's the one thing good about having a job, so that keeps your mind busy. Because when you're left alone in your mind, that's where bad things happen, because your mind starts running.
I mean, yeah. I don't think in my personal opinion, I don't think that would ever happen, because more jobs are being taken over by robots, but it's been happening for about the past 20, 30 years. But it's just becoming more and more in effect. But the people, you gotta think, people have to make those robots.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those jobs will decline and eventually be gone. But I feel like more jobs will open up for different stuff, because while the world is changing, jobs will change too.
Mm-hmm.
And
jobs going to get slimmer.
Yeah, but
only people that's going to have a job are people that know how to fix robots.
Yeah, but more jobs will open up for different stuff. Yes, those jobs as a cashier and stuff will be gone, but a lot of people do care about seeing a face, a human face, compared to something mechanical and having it done for you. People like having conversation. You can't have really have a conversation with a robot and actually feel real. It's not like it understands.
Unless when the singularity happens.
What?
You know what singularity is?
No.
Is when AI becomes self-aware. They're smart. Not saying they're going to take over the world and kill every human alive. Not Skynet. But they become self-aware and they can replicate themselves. At that point, they can do everything they want. And the only thing it takes is virtual reality till eventually we're basically pets, and the only thing we have on is some kind of virtual reality headset, and we're sitting there being force-fed through a tube all of our nutrients.
But whose fault is that?
It'd be ours.
Yes.
Because we like to experiment on things, and we're like, ooh, looky here, we should just go ahead and do this and do that, and it's all of a sudden, boom, next thing you know, Skynet starts.
But I feel like that so many people is aware of this issue that a lot more people are looking at it now compared to if there wasn't movies like Terminator and stuff like that. A lot of people are paying attention and trying to find a way where that doesn't happen. Unless...
And there's always fail-safes you can put in place.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. With all the fail-safes and everything. I get that. But at the same time, what makes you think just because those fail-safes get put in place that it's still, once it becomes self-aware, it takes that away. It stops that fail-safe to because as humans, we like to invent things, we like to explore things, we like to understand everything. As a human being, we like to understand everything. And guess what? AI is something that we don't technically really much understand about. So you know what we're going to do? Try to understand it more. Yeah. But there's that chance. There's always that chance that Skynet doesn't happen, and next thing you know, they're our best friends. And we're just like, oh, this person's nice.
I feel like most people, in my opinion, look for a problem to happen, and you think to yourself, this could happen. Well, of course it could happen. There's a lot of stuff that could happen, but if we think it's gonna happen, then it won't happen.
I mean, yeah.
Because
it normally doesn't.
Yeah, normally don't. It's just like something that crosses your mind and you automatically think that's a possibility. And there's a possibility for anything. But
the thing was that one thing. If it can't happen, it will happen.
Yeah.
But it said taking into account the possibility of it happening just in case. Which is where it fail safes and all that. But at the same time, how about we just don't do any of that stuff? But there's a lot of things about how AI is bad.
Yeah.
And it's all bad. That's what a lot of people think. Where at the same time, AI could be good.
Yeah.
That's what could cure cancer. It could, cause an AI can think.
We could cure cancer now. I guarantee we could. But they don't make no money.
Yeah,
on treatments and all that.
But let's say in hypothetical we don't know how to cure cancer. And we don't know how to cure AIDS
Okay.
and all that kind of stuff. That could get it. That could know how to do that.
Okay.
It could get us where we can do space travel, time travel.
You're
If
really
that's
going off the
possible.
wall.
No,
Here.
I'm saying if it's possible. All that because just think, a single AI could basically be, let's say, you take everybody's brain in the world
Okay.
and put it together, and all of a sudden, in a split second, it does over like 1 million different possibilities and solutions to those possibilities. And you can put in the computer, know how to time travel, and it can go through 1 million different possibilities of how that theoretically could work,
Yeah.
and would say, well, this is the best percentage of this one, and this one, and this one. Well, this one's 100% chance, but you just have to do this. Okay, put in there. How do you build this? It goes through all those millions of possibilities in a second and says, this is how you build that.
Okay.
Based on what you have on Earth right now, or what you have resource-wise. And then boom. Next thing you know, time travel or space travel. Make it where we could go across the Milky Way just like that.
Kind of like in.
Like, like Doom. You know, on Doom they had
I was
that
going to
portal.
say something like.
Interstellar.
Interstellar. That's what I was thinking. Something like that. And
How to create a wormhole.
I'm
And it
not
doesn't.
saying that none of it's possible because you can't prove something can't happen.
Yeah. There's always a way for something to happen.
Yeah. But I think the problem is like with people that are in denial that stuff like that can happen because you're closed-minded. I think it's more about, in my opinion, how you don't believe that could be a possibility. You don't, because it kind of scares you in a way of the thought that it could happen, that the world is way bigger than you thought and you're actually smaller than you ever anticipated.
And then, that's what happens. And usually the people like that usually have the biggest ego. And they think they're the biggest thing out there.
Yes.
And then the fact that, guess what? There might be something out there that's bigger than you.
Which typically it always will be.
Yeah. I mean, there's another civilization out there. Guess what? Now we're no longer the most intelligent things out there. Maybe. You never know, they might all be cavemen still.
And a lot of people with, like, that's religious and stuff, like, for instance, believe that why would God create this whole universe and just put everything on this planet? Why make the universe this big just to have us? There has to be more to it for his plan than we could ever even imagine.
What if we are here? And what if he's trying to create the perfect civilization?
I got The Good Place came to mind when you said that. Kind of like the perfect city and all that.
Like if you put one civilization here, one here, one here, different planets, but you put them far away from each other, and you make the universe so big that now that they can't no way get in touch with each other unless they get advanced enough. You have to break that barrier. So what if they do that and they give it different things, different situations? Like on Earth, we got the perfect thing for us to all of a sudden somehow we are on a planet that's perfect for humans. Just not too hot, not too cold, has water, abundant of oxygen. Everything you need is on here. Poof. And then what if on another planet, temperatures may be hotter, or it's colder on the planet, or something like that, and it's completely different situation.
Yeah.
And well, how would they evolve on here, and then how we evolved here, getting more advanced. Like imagine if, for instance, if a planet had too much oxygen.
Okay.
One, they're going to be bigger.
Okay.
But if the planet's too much oxygen, oxygen's flammable. Too much of it. Pure oxygen.
Yeah, pure.
It's flammable. And what if a planet had just pure oxygen?
Is it pure oxygen that's flammable, or is it just compressed
I think
oxygen?
it's pure oxygen.
Okay.
If I'm not, I might be wrong.
Because I thought that the reason why oxygen was flammable is because it's compressed into those tanks.
Guess what Google's for?
God invented Google for a reason. But I know with a lot of different religions, you think differently and you have the different takes on the world. And it really just depends on how you was raised.
Okay, so oxygen isn't flammable.
It isn't? So it is because it's compressed.
Yeah, it's not flammable, but it's an oxidizing agent, which means it helps other things burn.
Okay. So if you...
So
it just makes the fire continue.
So, let's say, for instance, if there's pure oxygen, something gets lit on fire, they make fire, it is going to continuously burn. It's going to be hard to put that out. Or, let's say, that something evolved on a planet with no oxygen. No oxygen, there can't be fire. So now, all of a sudden, that eliminates them making fire. So now they have to evolve some other way.
I think that, like, when it comes to fire, like, for instance, if we disconnected the hose from the water heater, because it's gas, and we just let it leak out into the whole house, carbon monoxide, and then we light a match, this place is going to be up in flames.
That's what I'm going to check and see.
Because I think that's kind of like how when people have... That's one reason why I didn't want a gas stove. It's because I don't trust myself enough to turn it off. Like, I leave the eye on all the time. I'm a careless human.
So it's extremely flammable.
Fantastic.
So it would. But at the same time, you'd have to seal this whole house off.
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't be like on movies where they just turn on the
And it goes...
thing and then it explodes. Because if it leaks out,
it
it's
probably
going to
wouldn't
dilute.
Probably not as bad.
It wouldn't make the big... And the whole house blows up and there's a
really,
crater.
Yeah, but well, you can really test that by simply how your air conditioning works in the summer, or how your heat works in the winter. So if you have to crank it up all the way to 80 degrees to stay warm
and it stays on.
then you probably have a leak. So, but I think that's how you can really measure how much air is leaking out of the house. So it really depends on the household, but it's a scary thought if you was careless enough to do that. I would be.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah.
With the fireplace, it's simple because I can see the flame and I can hear it. And it's in the living room, so it's easier to hear. Now, in the kitchen, if I'm not in the kitchen, that shit just fills all the way up. Then it comes out. I won't even notice. Playing with the lighters, boom.
Because it's colorless, odorless, tasteless. Did you know? You know what's weird?
It's odorless? I didn't know that.
That's what it says on here.
I thought it had a smell to it.
The boiling point for carbon monoxide is negative 312.7 degrees Fahrenheit.
Negative?
And then melting point is negative 337.04 degrees. Because it's a gas. Yeah. Which means the colder it is, it would turn into a liquid.
That's one thing I never understood about going back to cars and stuff. Us Americans call gas.
Gasolina.
But it's not gas. It's petrol.
We've always said gas, though.
Because we deemed it to be. That's why we drive on the right side of the road.
Which makes sense to me.
There was one person in a country, I think, near Africa. And he woke up one day. He was a dictator, keep in mind. Woke up one day and decided everyone that his economy is going too far to the left, so he should make his people drive on the right side of the road. And he did. Keep in mind, these are all right-handed drive cars. And all the roads is meant for right-handed drive cars, and making them drive on the opposite side is so, for instance, if they get off the bus, they have to get off the bus in the middle of the street. And
doesn't make sense.
They never fixed it. I think it's because they got so accustomed to it. But it's horrible because I don't know how a drive-through would work for that. Would you just throw your money through the window? If they have a drive-through, I don't really know how.
I don't know what. Just
throws the
catch
food.
it. Coca-Cola coming up. I wasn't ready.
You want me to throw you another one? Yes, please. I'll cost you an extra 25 cents. Oh, fine.
Fine. Whatever. Whatever. I guess that's fine.
And
throws it, misses.
I think that shows like at least for dictatorships that literally anything could happen, because kind of like for a republic, because a lot of people think that since there's one person in power like the president, that he makes all decisions, but he don't. I believe that he's more of a suggestions guy. It's like, you think we should do this? No. We're going to do it anyway. Okay, I'll take the blame for it. And so it's kind of like with being the vice president. It's more of a symbolic job. You don't really do much. It's just, you basically... Well, it really depends on, I know Dick Cheney apparently did a lot whenever George W. Bush was president. But...
George W. Bush.
But... they basically just sit back and wait. If something was to happen. And... Who was the last president that was shot? Wasn't it... I know Reagan got shot at, but I don't think they hit him. I'm pretty sure they did. JFK maybe?
Reagan.
I know
one part I thought was hilarious. I think it was a balloon that popped.
Oh yeah.
And he goes, "You missed," with that, and just kept on doing it. Everybody just started laughing.
It shows that even for that you have to have a sense of humor, and shows that he was kind of, when he said that, he was kind of like being like, I'm a hard ass.
Which is fine.
Which I can understand.
Because at a certain point in time, it's like...
Because I guarantee you, if it was an actual gun, he wouldn't have said, miss me. It's like, you missed me, try again.
Come on now. Just sitting here.
I was talking for 5 more minutes. I'm giving you a chance here.
And I'm just going to stand completely still, as tall as I can.
Who was it that shot JFK? Lee Harvey Oswald?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't believe that Lee Harvey Oswald was working alone with that. That's my opinion.
No, apparently there was...
Multiple
shots heard.
Really? I didn't know that.
Thing is, though, from different angles. Which maybe could be echo.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with an echo, it should be just... And yeah, bouncing off things, but you wouldn't hear...
Yeah, going more and more far distance.
What I've heard of, I'm not true it is, that he was like... Like it was like consecutive.
And I doubt he took about 5 shots.
Yeah, it was his... I think his was bolt action.
Oh, unless he's quick.
He had to go... Like he'd be the quickest... That video games can't even do it that quick.
I just don't like, even a lot of, they went to the location where he was at, and there ain't no way he could have made the shot. It's kind of like it that I like it when jokes and when movies make kind of like references to real life, kind of like how in X-Men Days of Future Past, they actually had Magneto was the one who shot and killed JFK because he can curve the bullet.
Oh.
So, that's why a lot of people, like in the movie, that he was in jail, and that's the reason why, because of the murder of JFK.
It's actually pretty good.
And I like it when movies do that with real life events. And
try to curve their own little spin on it.
There was another movie that took a real life event and did something with it. I just can't remember what it was. But one thing that we're going to talk about on this channel on staying on topic is conspiracies.
Ooh.
And we'll do all kinds of different conspiracies, especially with
aliens.
Yeah, well, that's
aliens.
I sounded more like Trump for that.
Aliens. Fantastic. I have bigger hands than they do.
You gotta give it to Trump though. He was the most memeable president out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was just mainly because of his voice, because almost anyone can do Trump's voice.
Mm.
It's hard for Biden. It's very hard to do a Joe Biden.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. It's
Come on,
a
man.
whole bunch of malarkey or something like that.
I mean, yeah, like certain things on him, like you can do certain things.
Probably like forgetting stuff easy or something.
It's
5 o'clock. I need to go to bed. Sleepy Joe.
Come on, man.
But
I mean, there's certain things like when even with all of it, like Trump. A lot of people like him for certain things. A lot of people like Biden for certain things.
yes,
And everybody is entitled to their own opinion on all that. I agree.
That's another thing that we are going to discuss on this channel eventually, is basically a different thought process between me and Adam over politics. So, and
Not get political on it.
we're
not saying either side is right or either side's wrong. And it's good to have discourse, so we can. It's good because you can come up with new ideas 24/7.
That's how I think with the world is, if you have the problem about with it now is they automatically think either side is the devil, and we need to discuss.
Peyton, your side's the devil.
No.
I mean, yeah, I agree.
And
I agree on 100%.
it's a very touchy subject for a lot of people, but I'm not going to get into it about it with this episode, but there's a lot more. That's a conversation we could probably have for about 3 hours.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, if we was to have that conversation, it'd be kind of like those things like, all right, it's starting, it's ending, you said your piece, we're going to have a timer. Kind of like the presidential debate.
Just each have 5 minutes to explain their side.
We need to have a moderator.
Have one person come in. That'd be cool. Like one time we do that, we'll have one thing where we do it, and it's we dress up as Trump. And next time we have like a political debate, dress up as Biden.
Yeah.
And Trump's gonna be the beggar. Just like, yes, fantastic. Both sides, fantastic. Both sides. And then Trump be like, what are we saying? What are we doing here? What? Come on, man. Give me a break. I'm tired.
He loves his ice cream, though.
What do you think
About
The Maverick. Ford Maverick.
So we're going this on another car, well, truck. Mm-hmm. I think the Ford Maverick is a good idea, and it looks like a good vehicle, but it's also something that it's also brand new. Usually, first years have problems, which it's still covered under warranty.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one thing I don't like about Ford is they experiment too much.
Which experimentation's good if you know it works.
But obviously, for like the cars going from 2012 to 2014, it didn't work.
2015 too.
2015.
It didn't work at all.
But
I give them props for trying.
Yeah,
but sometimes you don't need to try.
Sounds
bad when I say that.
I think it's a good idea because technically the original Rangers was more of a compact truck, I believe, and that's exactly what this truck is. This truck is basically like a 4-door 90s Ranger. So
I could see that.
It's about the size of it because it's a smaller truck than the Ranger. Obviously, it had to be because Ranger now is a mid-sized truck. And so you got full-size, mid-size, compact, I think that's what it's called. And I think I think this has a lot of potential, but I also think it might flop.
There's a chance it could.
I don't like that in order to get the all-wheel drive in it, you have to get the middle package. Wait, no, you don't have to get the middle package. You have to get the middle package to get the off-road package for it. Which, if you're going to get the all-wheel drive, you might as well get the off-road package, because so in order to get the all-wheel drive, you have to get the 2.0 liter EcoBoost. You can't get it in the hybrid engine. And that costs you about $1,100 more. And to get the all-wheel drive capability on it, it's about $4,000 more for the all-wheel drive.
Which all-wheel drive would be good if you live in a place that's real snowy.
And all in all, even with the all-wheel drive and the off-road package, it's still cheaper than a Ranger. And so if you got
every other new truck out there.
Yeah. So if you get the middle package, which before taxes with all-wheel drive and the off-road package, it's about $27,000 before taxes. So, and I think that's a pretty good deal for a truck.
For a brand new truck.
One thing I really don't like about it don't have a big bed. It only has, I think, a 4-foot bed.
But this is meant for more city.
Yeah, it's more meant for city. And Ford says it could fit most ATVs in the back of it. I don't see how. But
if there's a will, there's a way.
I think it has potential.
Tailgate is down. No, they actually said with the tailgate up, it can do the 4-wheel drive with the 4-wheeler or ATV. With the tailgate up, not down.
Yeah, with it up. But I
can see it being down, maybe.
I think they should have had like different sizes for the cab. I believe there should have been a 2-door option, kind of like a 4 and like 2.5, kind of like how my truck is, how you can open up the sides and get into the back seat in the full version. But I think the reason why they didn't, I think all their trucks except for the F-150 it comes in all 4-door. I think the Ranger comes in all 4-door. No, it don't. It don't. I don't think.
Maybe if you, depending on which one you get.
But I don't think they make any truck besides the F-150 that comes in just a regular 2-door. Because I haven't seen no Rangers with that. And I can understand because you can produce more of that same vehicle, and you don't have to worry about costs for different sizes and all that. Which I'd have to see the vehicle in person in order to really understand if it's a good buy or not. See how it runs.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on it?
I mean, all in all, somebody that doesn't like any expensive vehicles and won't want to pay $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 for a brand new truck, it's worth it. And the gas. If you want a truck, maybe all-wheel drive. No, with all-wheel drive you can't do the hybrid.
No.
But with the hybrid, just think, you get pretty good gas mileage.
I think you get
40 on the city.
Yeah.
Which is good. That's better than my car.
Is
car. Yes. In the city. Because highway, you get better gas mileage highway than you do city. Because city, you're stopping and going.
I think hybrid motors should be the future. My opinion.
But it's electric and gas.
Yeah, because working together as one thing. So, and that's why I could see that being more of the future. Because we love our oil and gas in America.
I'm pretty sure when I changed my oil the other day, I heard Black Hawk helicopters coming. I went and and cleaned it up real quick. Everything masked it, so they almost got me this time. I was slacking a little bit. A little drop.
I think the Maverick it's a good idea and probably a good buy. And I also see it being something that if it's successful, everyone else is going to copy. Toyota will come out with a smaller.
That's what they want.
Yeah. If it works.
If it works, they'll be ahead of everybody else when it comes to cheap trucks.
In a way, they are ahead of everyone because, especially with, well, they wasn't the first to do it, but I think the Ford Lightning is an amazing, and I think it'd be well worth the money.
I mean, all electric and everything, yeah.
And the main thing I like about it, what do you think the main thing I like about the Ford Lightning?
The lots?
No. Something that every vehicle has except trucks.
I think vehicles that accept trucks?
Yes.
I don't know.
A trunk.
A trunk? Oh.
It has, well, I guess you can sort of count the Honda Ridgelines.
Oh, your trunk that's in the front.
Yeah, the trunk's in the front.
Yeah.
But I guess you can sort of count the Honda Ridgelines under the bed. I don't really count it because if you have something in the bed, you can't get to it unless that is out. The Ford Lightning, it literally has a whole trunk.
That is true.
And I think that's such a good idea. And
I think it has lots in the
yeah,
thing
it does. And I think that's so cool. And
for the price, better be, which is actually still pretty cheap.
I think the cheapest is about $40,000.
Which isn't bad.
For the basic model, yeah, and it's not bad. And Ford actually under the mileage per kilowatt energy that they put was for if you were towing something. That's not, and so in reality, whatever it says that it gets, like how many mileage it actually gets more than that because I think it's actually less mileage but more torque. Actually, so but in all total, you get more than what Ford is even telling you about, and I think that's good that they gave you the specs for if it was your bed was full and you were towing something.
Which is good because it makes it it keeps like it exceeds your expectation in that.
Yes,
it's better to count low and then it's a lot more than them saying you're going to get this and then turns to find out it's nowhere near that.
That's
So,
very true.
So, I mean, it's one of those things which eventually, they're going to come up, every company's going to come up with their own vehicle. That's going to be probably a cheap one, and then probably a more, expensive one, and anything like that. So, I mean, it's just one of those things.
Yes.
Personally, on that part, every company's going to have their own version.
And hopefully
Toyota don't do a cheap one.
I hope they do.
The reason why, because if it's cheap, they have to compromise on something.
I don't think they would compromise in the engine or transmission range, because I feel like
It'd be a Flintstone vehicle. 10 grand.
Well, used to with the old Toyotas, they'd rust real bad with the old ones. So a lot of if you find a very old
The floorboards are rusted.
yeah, so you could do it then.
Comes with the Flintstone package. You just pull a latch and it opens up so you can do it with your feet.
I feel like most of this has been mostly about it's been mostly about technology.
Yeah.
So, you got anything you want to leave on, or is that it? Don't say it.
Bigfoot. He believes in you, so you should believe in him. That is all.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening and watching. And if you all have any suggestions for us or any topics you'd like to hear, feel free to leave a comment if you're on YouTube, or we'd be happy to hear from you.
Definitely.
Thank
What
you.
to talk about.
Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.